Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 56 of the Seezus Show. This is your boy, Sir Seezus, right here. Trey isn't here today. He'll be back on the next episode, but he has somebody filling in for him. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for my boy, Drew.
What's going on, everybody? It's Drew. Finally getting in here. Me and C have been talking about it for a long time. We just had audio. It's video now. Finally, we'll pay my due diligence and show the show some love.
Yes. I'm definitely interested to see your take on all these hot topics that we have going on today. But how you been, man? It's been a while.
I'm good, man. Just trying to, mind, body, and spirit, get everything leveled up, working every day, doing everything I need to do, and just getting the job done.
Oh, that's good. As long as you have all those good, as long as you're making strides, all that matters. So I see you grew the hair out a little bit, looking a little buff, man, hitting the gym, man.
Try to get everything right. Trying to be like you, man. Trying to be like you.
I wish in a perfect world I would be saying that to you, but that's what I've been trying to do lately. You know what I'm saying? I've been neglecting the gym a lot lately, so that's the one thing I want to get back to. I actually just started going earlier this week. So I just want to stay consistent, look good. When you look good, you feel good too, right?
You'll get it, man. You'll get it.
Yeah, so what's been pretty dope is me and my boy Austin, we've been doing this one thing where when we go to the gym, we go on social media and we tag each other, be like checking in. So it's not even just him. Whoever else is going to the gym with our circle, we'll tag them and be like, we're checking in. So that kind of, motivates me to be on my P's and Q's as well, too, and just, try to be consistent as well, too. So I like that. And, for other people who, find it hard to go to the gym as well, too, use me as an example, So, get it done, get the workout in, and like I said, feel good, look good, and everything's going to be okay. But yeah, man, me and Drew go way back. I think I met him actually through our group message, and I think you and DJ actually went to ODU together, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And then ever since then, we've been cool ever since. Been battling 2K. I've had my share of wins. He's obviously beat me a little bit more too. But 2K20 is definitely going to be a little different now. It won't be me picking the Brooklyn Nets of last year, and he gets like OKC or Boston. So I love the whole dynamic duo era now. So I can't wait to bust your ass in 2K20, man.
I run with everybody, and I play for bread. Anybody out there that wants to play me, just come see me. We get it going.
He is pretty nice, and for some reason, when he puts the bread on the line, everything just clicks, which is weird.
Everything's better.
Yeah,
we play better, baby.
For sure. But you ready for the hottest topics of the day, man?
Let's get it.
All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is Russ's trade to Houston. So Russell Westbrook was traded to the Rockets for CP3, two protected first-round picks. So those picks will be in 2024 and 2026. Both of those are going to be protected if they're 1 through 4, and two pick swaps in 2021 and 2025. So what's good about this is that the Thunder, obviously had James Harden, had KD, and had also Russell Westbrook in the past. And they played together for 3 years. And from those 3 years, they got to go to conference finals, and they also had their chance to go to the finals. And obviously, James Harden wanted to stay with OKC. That didn't work out because the GM didn't want to go over the luxury tax. So ended up trading him to Houston. Since then, James Harden went on to be an MVP. He's made the playoffs, I think, every single year. Got to the conference finals a few times. And he's just been dominant. Been one of the most dominant offensive players since he's, stepped into that role of being that star, being that go-to guy, being that franchise player as well, too. And then you have another guy on the fence with Russ where, he's been doing what he's been doing, leading his team to the playoffs, working with what he has to work with. But, I just feel like OKC, they just felt that, with having Russ as your franchise player, like the West is only getting better. And
Definitely.
being in a small market, I feel like it's just, I always say this in every episode, when you're in a small market, it's really, really hard to attract marquee free agents. It's not unless you get drafted or unless you're kind of like on the tail end of your career or you just want out, you're going to have to either get traded or you're going to have to get drafted to these small market teams. So I just felt like Sam Presti never really, he tried to get Oladipo, but that was when Oladipo wanted the, Oladipo that we see now. Obviously, he tried to get Paul George. That was good, but it wasn't good enough. He didn't really build those pieces around him. So now, you get Harden and Westbrook, who are both like I said, former teammates, both boys, both from LA, have some chemistry together, and they're reuniting. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. We haven't really seen, other than KD and KD and Steph in the modern era, 2 league MVPs still in their prime playing together. So I'm pretty excited about that. So how do you feel about the trade? My first question I want to ask for you is, do you think that Russ and Harden can coexist? And if so, or if not, why?
I think they can. It's gonna be a learning experience for both of them. They have a very, very, very high ceiling, but also a very low floor. I feel like they are boys from LA, in that city. So if they do that best friend thing and share the ball and both go hard out and play defense every night, they could be real good. But also with the ball hog thing, if they do that, they could have a lot of turnovers. Them boys both like to turn the ball over a lot. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it goes good for them. I am hoping that they do real good this year.
Yeah, for sure. Now, before I give you my 2 cents to that, I feel like there's a few reasons why this trade went down in the first place. One, I felt like on the Rockets end, they just felt like, they had success under Mike D'Antoni, but they kept, falling short. And maybe it was because of the Golden State Warriors just being so dominant. Kind of like, when MJ was on the Bulls, they were pretty good teams, battling it out. But at the end of the day, if you're the better team and you have the better player, you're more if you're healthy, 9 out of 10 you're going to win. You know what I'm saying? So it could just be the demise of them just falling to the Warriors every single year. Another thing I wanted to say, Daryl Morey is obsessed with winning, so he has his mindset, if I don't get it done this year, I'm going to always find a way to change up that roster. So
it's 2019.
2019, you just got to, you got to be able to adapt and whatnot. Another reason is CP3. CP3 is 34 years old now. When he came to the Rockets, he was still towards the end of his prime, I have to say, but based off of these numbers of what we've seen last year and the year before, he's definitely took a dip back, and he sees he just, I don't know if it was because Father Time Father Time has caught up with him, or the fact that he was kind of, and you can tell by his body language, a little disengaged with the Houston's offense, how it was more so tailored towards James Harden and ISO ball as opposed to moving the ball around. It kind of looked like he just was disengaged. So I think that was one of the reasons why, that they had to change things up. But to answer your question, can they coexist? I think they can coexist. But what it's going to come down to is them putting the Eagles aside. You have 2 franchise players who literally can do whatever they want on their team. Now you have them coming together. And it's not like when they were playing with KD, James Harden was the 6th man. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook and KD, those were the guys who were running the show. James Harden was kind of like that Ginobili for that team right there. So now you got James Harden, who is obviously better than him. I'm curious to see how long it's going to take, and I'm curious to see who's going to be that primary ball handler. I think, under D'Antoni, obviously whenever a star point guard goes under D'Antoni's system, they just up their level. Obviously, Russell Westbrook's a walking triple-double. Last 3 years, average a triple-double. Career average that I pointed out, 23, 7, and 8. I think he should be the primary ball handler. I think when you get an upgrade from CP3 to him, you have someone that's more athletic, that imposes will in the game on both ends of the floor, and he just do it all, just plays with that energy, more durable. I think they're gonna work some magic. Now it may take some time, but when you think about it, when KD's left, Sam Presti didn't really put no shooters around Russell Westbrook. So now you have snipers everywhere now, and I feel like for Houston to make that next step, I think you have to essentially let Russell Westbrook be the point guard.
Okay. So question. Let me interview real quick. How about this? If you're the coach, you have the option of having just Russell Westbrook, just Russell, or just Harden to run your show. Who do you want to have?
So if they're both on the team, or if you just want to go one player?
One or the other.
If I could just choose one?
Yes.
Harden.
Okay. So I think you can have both take turns doing on-ball and off-ball.
Okay. And
see what works out. And then, by game 20, 30, 40, just play around with it. And whatever works best for them, works best for them. You have 2 great players, 2 MVP caliber players. they can take turns doing their thing, and if one's doing good one half or the second half, just go whoever's hot, whoever has the ball in their hands and is working and is moving and getting everybody involved, or doing their own thing. Just go with that, and then whoever doing good, just go. Just they all both MVP players, so they can both rock with and without the ball. Westbrook can play off ball. The three-point shot ain't always there all the time. He can cut, get involved, crash the boards, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, James Harden's a deadly shooter. He can play off ball too. So I feel like D'Antoni, he gonna have a lot to work with. He gonna have give in, go back to the drawing board, drop himself up, work with his team, and he got a lot to work with. So he got to make it work. He got to make it happen. They got a team. They
definitely have a team. So my question for you is who are you making the primary ball handler?
To start off, it's got to be Westbrook. To start off, but Harden's gonna have the ball in his hands. He's an MVP.
Yeah.
Harden's gonna have the ball in his hands a lot. Period. So I mean, it's just whoever if Westbrook is hot, the whole game, the Westbrook had the ball, and then of course incorporate Harden in the offense. You got Capella running the floor too. You hit him for lobs as well. They both can throw lobs. They both playmakers. They both can get 10 assists any given night.
I just think they
can get 10 turnovers any given night.
Yeah,
too.
I just think their offense is going to be more deadly if Westbrook's the point guard, like I said, with all the shooters there. Because with Westbrook, he's still going to get by anybody that's on him right there. And what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to clog that paint. When you clog the paint, you got shooters everywhere. And I feel like James Harden last year, honestly, since he's been there, he's literally been a one-man show. He really hasn't had that other player he can lean on now. So I would love to see him play off the ball more and be effective. And I think they'll elevate each other's game as well, too. But I like it. Do you think with this move, obviously getting rid of CP3, do you think this makes the Rockets a better team? Obviously, like the West is stacked, so they could win 50 games and still not even be a top 3 seed this year. But do you think with the addition of Westbrook, are they a better team? And
absolutely.
Why?
Maybe not immediately, but when it's come time for the playoffs and it's time for James Harden and Westbrook to show out and show the world what they're about, I feel like that's when they can make their statement and show the world everything. In the regular season, they're going to have to figure it out. It's going to take a few games. They might not start out hot. They may. You never know. But they might not start out immediately hot. They got to get it together, get the offense together, get the flow together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But by the time the playoffs come, hopefully they'll have it all together, and that's going to be their time to shine.
Yeah, and I think they respect each other so much that they will both adjust their games for one another too. So besides LeBron James, with players who haven't won a championship yet, Westbrook and Harden get the most criticism, at least going into the playoffs. One hasn't been past the first round since KD left. The other one, we have high hopes for him. We have him, essentially always thinking that he's going to make the finals, beat the Warriors. Haven't got past that burden. They just never play up to that regular season, level of game. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And I think this year too, also, Westbrook shot terribly from three-point. I think he's going to come back and shoot better. He's normally 80% from the free throw line, shot about 70-some%. I think he's going to get that back as well too. And the fact that he doesn't have to carry so much of a load offensively, I just think they're gonna be scared. Do you think they're the best duo in the NBA right now, or definitely like a top 5 or whatever?
I wouldn't say the best duo. I would say they're top 5. I want to say Westbrook. He has a lot to show the world. He's played with just about anybody you need to play with. He's had KD. He's had Harden. He's had Paul George. KD left Westbrook, won a championship. He had Paul George. Oladipo. Oladipo didn't play that good when he was in the Thunder with the Thunder, but when he left, he was All-NBA player, first team all defense. He's had players. He has personnel. You can go back. He has Steven Adams. He's had Ibaka. Yeah. So he's got a lot of dollars right now because Dame ate their souls out in the playoffs this year.
Dame literally broke up OKC, dog. That's crazy.
So he's got a lot to show me this year. I'm really rooting for him. I want to see him do real good this year with Harden, and then do big things in the playoffs this year. I really want to see it.
Cool. Well, we're gonna see what happens with that. Extremely excited for these guys, man. And we'll see what's good. It just sucks because a lot of the teams are so stacked on the West. All the West games, unless they play in the East game and they're hosting the home team in the East, we gotta stay up at 10:30 to watch it. But it's gonna be so worth it. I don't care. I'm gonna come to work tired. There's something to talk about, and I'm gonna be excited every single time, man. What I want to talk about next is Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul was the one who kind of took that L a little bit. He actually was the one that got traded along with some draft picks over to the OKC Thunder. And right now, Chris Paul has 3 years and $124 million left on his contract right now.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. So my first question for you is, before we even get into Chris Paul, they always preach, oh, you got to be loyal to your team. But at the end of the day, it's a business. So my question for you is, do you think it was kind of messed up to trade him like that, especially when they gave him that max contract? Because it kind of Blake Griffin him too. When you think about it, when Chris Paul had to sign a trade and went to Houston, Blake Griffin got that 5-year Super Max deal, and then they traded him right before the All-Star break to the Pistons. So how do you feel about, as far as like being not even a fan, just being like a GM, for example, or being a player, seeing it from Chris Paul's point of view? How do you feel about being traded? Like, do you owe loyalty? And just tell me your insight about that.
I'll start with the GM first. As a GM, it's 2019. You got to make things shake. In the offseason, if you're not making moves, then you're getting worse. Everybody's making moves. We saw it. This shit was I don't know if I can curse on here.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
It was a soap opera. It was a soap opera this offseason. That's what I want to call it, a soap opera. Everybody make moves. If you didn't make any moves, you got worse. You didn't stay the same, you got worse. So you have to make moves. From a GM standpoint, getting Westbrook, I think, was a great move. He may get flack from that because the type of player that Westbrook is, but you got to keep it moving. But from Chris Paul's standpoint, you got to realize it is what it is. We all saw what happened with DeMar DeRozan last year. That was heartfelt. Chris Paul kind of on that same, I wouldn't say he didn't give as many years to the Raptors like DeMar did, but, him and Harden did almost make the finals against Steph Curry and them boys just a few years ago, 2 years ago. So, it's sad for Chris Paul. I don't want him to rot in the Thunder. Hopefully they trade him away. He, go to a good little organization that he can, happily retire in, because he is about 34 now.
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens.
And it sucks too, because like, I think Chris Paul still has a lot of juice left in the tank. Obviously, he missed a couple games this year, but he was healthy when it mattered most for the playoffs. I just feel like, although him and Harden are boys, I just felt like a lot. Well, Chris Paul has been getting a lot of slack for how he showcases his leadership. So when they say that, they basically said he's the type who basically he doesn't. As a leader, you should try to vet out the players around you and try to get to understand them as an individual, so you can know what pushes them, what makes them irk, and all that good stuff. And I feel like Chris Paul, he doesn't know how to adjust to certain people, so they kind of took it the wrong way. And I think that ultimately led to their demise too. And another thing was, I don't know why, with 3 great playmakers in Eric Gordon and James Harden and Chris Paul, I don't know why they never really moved the ball around like that. And I think Chris Paul wasn't really satisfied with, James Harden just, running the show while he's just literally standing on the base. Standing on the corner right there as well too. So I think he wanted a change in the offense. James Harden said no. And I heard there was reports saying, it's either me or him. Nine times out of 10, you're going to choose James Harden, man. So my next question for you is, do you see, because it's crazy how, like, you can be loved so fast, and then at the end of the day, people just forget about you like that. So do you think he's going to be like a Melo type of player where, he slowly starts to deteriorate? The coaching staff, the GM, the front office, they slowly start to reduce his minutes and try to, kind of devalue him and whatnot. Do you think that's where he's ended up at, or do you think he still has some more left in the tank?
This is definitely step one for Chris Paul. I'm going to say that. But I don't think he's going to ever be like Melo. How they did that man, Melo, was very disrespectful. I was a Melo fan. I didn't like to see my man done dirty like that. I feel like he can still play for somebody.
I think he can still play for somebody.
The players are coming out and saying he can still play. If the players are saying that,
in the league and whatnot, and you don't have Melo playing, that don't make no sense, bro.
It's sick, man. It's sick. But Chris Paul, he's not gonna be like Melo. He always gonna be, a veteran in the locker room. I feel like his floor is. I'm gonna say Derek Fisher is his floor, and I hope it never gets there. But Derek Fisher is his floor.
Yeah, I don't really see him staying in OKC. They have 2 options: you either trade him or you.
A prime Derek Fisher is his floor.
Prime Derek Fisher is his floor. That's interesting. But yeah, I feel like you either trade him or you buy his contract out. But the thing about it is, like I said, he has 3 years and $124 million left. you just literally broke up your team. You know, you got rid of Russell Westbrook, you got rid of Paul George, both via trade. You stocked up on all these draft picks. You got what's his name, Shai Alexander or something like that, who's gonna be very very tough. So it's like,
Put some
do
pressure on Chris
you
Paul to play good.
yeah, do you put pressure on him to play good? Do you build up Chris Paul and you trade him by All-Star break, or do you just trade him right now? Because I feel like if you're gonna trade away your two best franchise players in Paul George and Westbrook, you might as well just start over. So it's really no point in keeping them. Now they could still have a formidable team and have Chris Paul and Alexander in the backcourt with Gallinari, maybe Roberson and Adams as your big man. That's not really gonna get you anywhere. Maybe if you're in the East, you can get away with it, but in the West,
You trade them boys, you better have a plan. I'll
Yeah.
say that. You better have a plan.
but it's
for the
like
future.
I don't see anybody picking up his contract. So if you OKC, you might as well just take that L and just pay him that bread.
What is he getting, like 3 years? How many? I think you said earlier,
24
20
mil
oh my
left.
gosh, that's
And
a
he's
lot
34
of money.
years old.
Ooh. Ooh.
He's 34 years old. So unless you attach him with draft picks to a team, that's the only reason where I'm seeing him going. But you're looking at the landscape in the West, in the East, because first and foremost, he's going to want to go to a team that's very competitive, that can at least contend for a championship or at least be in the playoff hunt.
Of course, how all the old heads go, of course.
And every team has a point guard. Blazers have a point guard. Warriors got a point guard. Pelicans got a point guard. Sacramento got their point guard.
most
Utah got their
competitive
point
position
guard.
in the
That's the
NBA.
most competitive position in the NBA. We are in the era of the point guard dominance. So, I mean, the only options I see if he gets traded is Miami. You know what I'm saying?
JB. Ooh.
Him and Jimmy Butler, that would be tough.
They lost Whiteside. They get a big man over there? Yeah.
I can't think of their big man right now. I'm sure they
They'll
got
get one. They'll pick up
somebody.
somebody.
Pat
They'll
Riley
pick
got
somebody.
somebody up his sleeve. So I don't see him getting traded there, or if you can try to work out a deal in Philly, but I don't really see what assets Philly can really give up right now. So you got to buy him out. And my question for you is, if you are Chris Paul and you're the front office of OKC, you buy his contract out, where do you want him to go? I say the best sense, what makes the most sense is the Los Angeles Lakers. I've been thinking about it too. You know, obviously LeBron James always wanted the Banana Boat crew to reunite. He's got a chance to play with D Wade. Never had a chance to play with Melo. We'll see if Melo gets picked up or not. I think the Lakers still got 2 more spots left, but I think Chris Paul with AD, Danny Green, LeBron, Kuzma, Avery Bradley,
might be
DeMarcus
alright.
Cousins. That's
might be
tough.
alright.
But what I'm worried about is if you sign Chris Paul to the Lakers, you know he got beef with Rondo. How does that work? Is LeBron going to be the peacemaker right there, or
Who stole who? Did Rondo steal him? Or was it back and forth?
Rondo spit on
Might have
him? I
picked-
think.
oh, he did.
No, Chris.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, Rondo spit on him.
And Paul stole him? Ooh. That's going to be funny.
Exactly.
Another
So
soap opera, right? The NBA is a soap opera. I'm telling y'all, man. The NBA is a soap opera.
and that's why I love it. So yeah, my question for you is, if you get bought out and you're him, where do you want to go? Because I feel like if you go to the Lakers, like you're gonna have to get rid of Rondo at that point.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to be good for the locker room at all.
The Lakers would be a great destination for him. Definitely. Play with his boy LeBron. Get to play with AD. Somebody I feel like Chris Paul always want to play with as a point guard, little point guard. Want to play with a big man that can do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, young boy Kuzma. He's a hooper. You got some boys off the bench, but then again, you got Miami. That's South Beach.
That is
You have a lot of fun.
I mean, he could go to
Raise
the
the
Bucks.
family.
He could go to the Bucks too, or like the Pistons,
The Bucks might be a little slight.
Timberwolves, Dallas, and let Luka play off ball a little bit. That would work.
I don't think he want to go to the Mavericks. I don't
I
know.
don't think so either.
That's a lot of work. He got to put in over there.
That is a lot more work he got to
a
put
lot
into.
of coaching. A lot of coaching.
So man, yeah, in a perfect world, Lakers. But if he gets his contract bought out, man, I can see him go out. My 3 top destinations would be, wow, that was crazy. The Lakers, the 76ers, or Miami. I think
like it.
either of those
Ain't
would
bad.
work for
I
him
like
as
it.
well too.
I like it.
Cool. Oh wow, you guys heard that lightning. Sorry about that. The show must go on. Next thing I want to talk about is Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis just had his press conference. He sat down with Rachel Nichols from ESPN The Jump, and basically they were talking about him finally, making his own destiny, creating his own destiny, and getting traded to the Lakers. So they sat down. They talked about the banners, the fact that the Lakers are one of the most historical franchises in all of sports. They also talked about how him being in a new environment, him ruining 2 franchises by demanding a trade, trying to recruit Kawhi, and his overall expectation for next season. So, one of the things I want to talk to you about was that Rachel Nichols. Well, we can go back. So when he got introduced to the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, who's the GM, basically said Anthony Davis is going to be one of the pillars of this franchise for the next 5 to 10 years, which sounds good because when he demanded a trade, he said he only wants to go to the Lakers. Obviously, LeBron James said you want to go there. But when Rachel Nichols asked him, yeah, so with Rob Pelinka comments on what he said of you basically being a Laker for the rest of your career, free agency is about to come up next season. How do you feel about that? And literally, he kept it real. He was like, I mean, I can't really answer that right now. I'm just going to take it day by day, see where it goes from there. And then, hopefully by that time, that is, it's June. Our season's still going on. We hold those banners. We have that parade. And, I can make my decision now, too. But for now, I just got to focus on what I got to do and give him all this year. How do you feel about that comment right there? And my thing I want to ask you is, first and foremost, how do you feel about AD with that comment? And then leading into that, how do you feel about NBA players not finishing contracts from an owner standpoint, and also from a player standpoint as well?
You gotta be a businessman. Gotta be a businessman. I feel like LeBron started. There's nothing wrong with AD said. I feel like at the end of the day, 1-year contracts, everything goes. And if he wants to sign again, sign again. If something else comes up, he wants to go somewhere else, go somewhere else. We just saw Kyrie do with Boston, moving to the Nets. KD did it, moved on to the Nets. Kawhi did it, won a championship, and moved on to the Clippers. Players taking ownership. It's not wrong with, changing the trajectory, of your career and doing what you want to do when, going somewhere that makes you happy, playing with whoever you want to play with, et cetera, et cetera. These owners can't, run everything. You got to have some type of career moves and career destination for yourself and, do what you want to do. Take ownership sometimes.
Yep, definitely take ownership. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to LeBron James for just paving the way on, players really controlling their destiny as well, too. At the end of the day, if you're not happy in an environment, you got to leave. Even, with us normal people. We work our 9 to 5.
Exactly.
We work our 9 to 5. It can start off good. It's a great opportunity. You get blessed for what you have because you realize that, there's other people who would die to be in your position. But at the same time, if you're not happy somewhere, what do you do when you have a normal job? You start to go online, update your resume. You still invest your time. You still put your effort into the job. At the same time, you're not happy, so you're going to want to go somewhere else. So, like he said,
some of y'all be changing jobs every 3 months.
Every 3 months, man.
I see y'all out there changing jobs every 3 months.
I look at resumes every day. I be seeing hella changes 3 months, 2 months, 6 months. So you just got to find that right place for you. And, happiness comes from within. So definitely that. So I'm not even mad at him. Like from an owner standpoint, definitely I'm mad because you literally traded away all of your assets in Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, draft picks, and then also, what's his name? Josh Hart.
Oh, yeah.
And they got rid of Zubac, too, earlier in the season.
Was all right, too.
He was tough. Now you're on the Clippers. Go Kawhi. But, yeah, you trade away all these assets. So if you're an owner, you're just like, damn. Like, now, if AD leaves me, who am I going to get next year? The free agents coming in next year aren't really that good.
It should be straight, though. With Bron going to get it done. Bron will get the job done.
But
all the faith in Bron.
For sure. Definitely got faith in Bron as well, too. But my thing is, like, there's a few reasons why I can see if he leaves. LeBron James. LeBron James, 34 years old. He's about to be 35. Last year, he had one of the worst injuries of his career, missed almost, 17, 18, maybe 19 games. I want to see how his health holds up. Is he going to be like a Kawhi Leonard, obviously, who's younger? Is he going to be in a lower management? 2, coaching staff. They have so many different coaches. What if it's a whole year of trying to get things together and they don't play up to their potential? And then also the management. What if management doesn't, handle things correctly, don't make those right moves? I can see him being, having his foot out one door as well too. So those are my takeaways from that as well too. But like you said, it's a players' league.
Yeah, I don't have AD leaving. I expect them to be really good this year. Their team.
People forget how good he is.
Exactly. I'm gonna give Bron a pass for that bullshit that happened.
Me
last
too.
year.
He played with a bunch of young cats.
Yeah, he done been to the finals with a much worse crew.
Granted, he's in the
He
East.
got a little squad. I won't hear no complaining from LeBron James all year. Got your squad. You didn't get that third free agent to go along with yourself and AD, but you got a little squad. It's you, Kuz, and AD. I got a little big three. Make it happen. Do big things. Tough for West, but you LeBron James any day. Let's get it done.
Yeah, and then one of the last things Rachel Nichols said as well too was she asked him, what are your expectations for this year? He said to win, and he said, I feel like with the team that we have now, you put us up against any team in the West in the playoffs out of a 7-game series, basically saying it's going to be really, really hard to beat us. What do you think? What do you think the Lakers, expectations are, and how far do you think they're going to get this year when it gets to the playoffs, barring any injuries, obviously?
Yeah, injuries is big. Especially when you got Anthony Davis. I got him being top three in the West. Top three in the West.
I like that. Okay, cool. Next thing I want to talk about is my boy Ben Simmons. Feeling really good. Really, really good. Just signed a 5-year, $170 million deal extension.
That's tough for him.
Wow, that's very, very tough. So I think you calculated, what is that, like 30, how much mil?
I think I did. We did it earlier, the math. I think it was 34.
$34 million a year. First and foremost, Philadelphia, you had to do it because if you don't sign him and he becomes a free agent and rocks, then there's no process at all. And he's just a young talent. I think I had his stats out here. This past season, he averaged 17, 9, and 8, made his first All-Star appearance this year, shot 56% from the field. With those numbers, you're definitely going to have to get that bread, too. Only thing he's missing, really, is his jump shot. But do you think he was worth that money?
On Philly standpoint, damn right. You got to keep Embiid. You got to keep everybody the core. Trust the process, right? That's what the motto they've been going by for the last 3 years? If we trust in the process, then pay the man the money. You want him to stay right 5 years. That's a long time to lock somebody, a 6'10" point guard that don't lack in speed, athleticism, or quickness at 6'10". Yeah, he don't have the jumper. He come out there, play hard every night. He won't be injured much. He was injured that first year. Right, but besides that, he's a pretty durable player.
Play like 95% of his
exactly. He's going to go up and down every night. He's going to play defense. He's going to rebound. He's going to dish the rock. He don't have the jumper yet, but does he really? I don't think he even really needs it. Just working that ball, handling that vision, finding Embiid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, a little mid-range jumper wouldn't hurt nobody. But, just be big, just be stronger than everybody, and keep running up and down the court. He'll be straight.
Look, if you can't pay $34 million a year, I don't think he need it. He definitely need that jump shot, man. You see what happens in the playoffs every single time.
Yeah.
They have to have Joel Embiid out on the perimeter because Ben Simmons can't shoot. This year, you getting paid that bread. You got the whole offseason to work on now. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to be there, but at least make those strides to actually shoot. And what's funny is Tobias Harris, he was getting he basically had a signing. He has max contract as well, too. He sat down with the press, and they made a joke. They were like, yo, like, there's been this video service, and why have you been chasing Ben Simmons to the three-point line? Like, he can't shoot. And then Tobias Harris basically saying, like, the reason why I chased him there because he was making his three-point shots. So it makes me think, with all this money, are you working on your shot? And do you think it's a mental thing with Ben Simmons? Because there's one thing to practice it on your own, but there's another thing when the crowd is actually there and those emotions get to you. You start to freeze up a little bit as well, too. Do you think we're actually going to, with this max contract, do you think we're actually going to see a Ben Simmons who actually takes jump shots to at least where it's respectable? Because his form is not that bad, for real.
I mean, I know for me, money is a motivator. And $34 million a year would definitely be a hell of a motivator for me, especially if I'm 21, 22 years old? Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yo, this dude is 21, 22 years old.
He got paid, bro.
Getting 17, what was that, 17, 8, 9, something like that?
170 mil.
And 17, 8, 9 every night?
Yeah, 17, 8,
That's
9
his stats?
Yeah.
Come on, man. The jumper's going to come. The boy's a young boy. He's 21, 22 years old. Let him get some chance to grow, develop, and learn. He's already a 6'10" point guard. What else y'all want from the man? He's a young bull. He's going to get it. He's going to get it together. He's going to be a beast.
Yeah, he's going to have to shoot. They lost J.J. Redick, lost Jimmy Butler. Obviously, they added Richardson. Horford, who I got to see how that meshes together because are you going to ask him to take even more threes?
Horford?
Because Ben Simmons needs space.
Yeah, you can't clog the paint. Yeah. You can't clog the paint.
That's the only thing I'm worried about with him as well, too.
He at least got to be out there as a threat. At least got to be out there as a threat.
I respect him, though.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not going to sag off him. He's going to knock that down.
I don't have a choice. And he also a playmaker too. He'll find everybody. Ben Simmons come to the basket. You know, he hit the 3-point line. He'll find Ben Simmons. They lost JJ, but they got Josh Richardson from the Heat.
Yeah.
So, you know, they got shooters.
Yeah.
Horford to find them too. He'll help out.
Yeah. So obviously they have their team. There's no more trust the process. The process is here now. This is better at best as they can get right now. So let's say, you know, they fall short this year. Because right now you can argue with the Bucks losing some of their pieces that Philly should be the favorites right now. That's what a lot of people would say.
They should come out.
Let's say they don't come out. Do you go with what you have, try to make some slight tweaks, or do you start to look at it and be like, all right, well, I don't think this experiment with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid can work out. Let me start to explore some options and trade one of them. Do you think they are going to be the face of the franchise, or do you think when shit starts to hit the fan, you're going to have to get rid of one of them? Like, who do you think is the most important to this franchise?
So you're saying if they don't get to the finals?
So if they don't live up to the expectation, because right now they're in that Boston Celtics atmosphere right now. Obviously, Boston got broken up, that didn't work out. Bucks took a step back, they lost some pieces right there, and Mirotic and Malcolm Brogdon as well too. So right now, you can argue going into the regular season, they are the prohibitive favorites. Right. If they don't live up to that expectation and don't make it to the finals, do you think they should just come back stronger and everyone, you know, keep the same core intact or whatnot, or do you look on trying to trade away one of those pieces and getting more back from them?
Well, I think it depends on how they go out. If they go out sad, then yes. The last 2 years for Embiid in the playoffs, I don't think it was Embiid-like. Ben Simmons played, we think, pretty good this year in the playoffs. I know the year before that he didn't play that good. But honestly, man, I wouldn't. Them boys still young at the end of the day. I don't think I would make too many tweaks. But I would, you know, you might want to look at tweaking something. But then again, next summer is gonna be 2020. So you never know. I mean, you never know. We'll see how it plays out. But I will say it depends on how they go out. If they, you know, if they get to like the Eastern Conference Finals, get like Game 7 and don't make it to the finals, honestly, I wouldn't change anything. Maybe a minor tweak here and there. If you don't make any changes, you're not getting better necessarily. So I think you're getting worse. But it depends on how they all go out, I think.
For sure. Another thing I want to talk about now, basically the Nets owner came out and said, obviously, you know, we took a gamble on signing KD to this max contract, and more than likely from his Achilles injury, he's not going to come back for another year. There have been reports once you actually tear your Achilles and get that surgery, it takes about 6 months to recover. Then at that point, it's kind of really up to your player to see essentially how their body reacts to everything and, you know, how fast they want to get back on the court. So basically he said there's no pressure on KD coming back. If you're KD, what do you do? If you're healthy, are you going to take that Paul George route where you play like the last 10, 15 games and then, you know, try to work your way into the playoffs? Or do you actually sit out that whole year? Because knowing what happened with Golden State, obviously it's different because it's the finals and legacy, people getting away. What do you do?
All right. So I'm a Kyrie fan.
Yeah, I forgot.
Stem from a Duke fan. Always been a Duke fan all my life. So hated, love it. I'm rocking with the Nets right now. So I do want to see KD come back at the very, very end of the year. I did some research. I know Dominique Wilkins, he got hurt in the middle of the season. Back in the day, I think he said he was like 32. So he was well into his career. Same injury as KD. Came back the next year. Less than 180 days later. Averaged 30 and was all-star. So that's just some little history. I think KD can. It just depends on the medical staff. It is 2019. I keep saying that over and over and over again. They got better medical staff. They got new inventions, better protocol, better facilities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I seen Paul George snap his ankle in half, you know, on live TV and came back and played, 365 days later? Mm-hmm. So, you know, he got hurt in the playoffs last year, finals. I don't know how many NBA players go 365 days without playing. Gordon Hayward, he snapped his leg. I don't know if he was a whole 365 days without playing.
Did you watch that game with us?
I did.
It was me and DJ.
Maybe. You might be. I don't know. I don't remember.
I think you watched it at my crib, bro. I think you watched it at my old crib.
But I don't know too many NBA players that go 365 days after injury and don't play again. So we'll see how it goes. I hope for the best for him, you know, because I want the Nets to do good this year. Kyrie going to hold it down until KD get back. When he do get back, they're going to be a force.
Now, there was this one report saying that they have the Nets projected to only win 38 games this year.
That's very
which
disrespectful.
does it's kind of disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
I said 42-40, and last year they were 38-44. But I really thought about that. I'm like, yo, I mean, you lost Crabtree. Is it Michael Crabtree or Crabtree, whatever his name is. You lost him. You lost D'Angelo Russell, and I think that's essentially it. You know what I'm saying? And you got back Kyrie, swapped for D'Angelo Russell, and then you still got Allen off the bench, and you got DeAndre Jordan there too. So I think they got better. What are your expectations for them? Putting aside you being a Kyrie fan, from an actual looking from the outside in, how do you feel the Nets are going to be this year?
It's gonna be showtime for the Nets. You're gonna see a lot of highlights, a lot of fun plays, excitement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Kyrie gonna do his thing. It was a lot of slandering on my dog, all last year with all these young bulls. I don't put the fault on Kyrie. A lot of people forget the year before last, the first year Kyrie was with the young bulls, they started off 22-4.
I forgot about
they was
that.
number one in the East. Until Kyrie got hurt. This was not last year. This was the year before last. So after the Young Bulls, did their thing in the playoffs, got all big-headed and came in.
Big-headed, especially Rozier,
thought they was
too.
the man. That's when, things went south. So I think they can do pretty good. Depends on how they start off. If they start off good, they're going to start off cooking, then, they're going to do their thing. But my prediction for them, top 4. Top 4.
We'll see about that. Definitely see about that. So I think the biggest thing is Kyrie buying into that system. Kyrie learning from his experiences, not only from his stint in Cleveland, but also also with the Celtics on just being a true leader. Because of, they said with Kyrie, he has that type of personality. Like when he's mad, he's gonna make it known he's mad, and he kind of affects the whole morale of the team itself. So I think he's grown from that situation. I think he's going to be more mature about that. And honestly, I think it really depends on their young talent as well, too. Kyrie can only do but so much. So we got to see what Spencer Dinwiddie and what LeVert talking about, too. And I think if they live up to the hype and take that next step.
And they both dogs.
If they take that next step, then I agree with you. I can see the Nets being as high as a number 4 seed.
And they both can rock with the ball, distribute, create for their own. They got a big boy down low. Everybody going to be throwing lobs. DeAndre, I don't know what they're gonna do with Jared Allen. If they're gonna keep him, bring him off the bench.
It's DeAndre Jordan.
No, they got Jared Allen too.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna come.
He definitely. I don't know if they're gonna try to trade him. Get like a 4-man, a 4. That's what I'm thinking. We might try to do. It's we now. We might trade him. Get anybody. We got some young bulls we can throw in there too. We got Joe Harris, this sharpshooter. I think he led the league in 3-point percentage last year. We got Kyrie. What he shoot last year, like 49%. After Steph, number 1 in point guards, under like 6'4".
You did talk about that. I forgot.
40% from 3. All that hate on Kyrie, man. He was second team All NBA.
He was very efficient.
Shooting 49% from the field, 40% from 3. I mean, you can't really beat that. You got a dog at the point guard. Who do you got? We got Karis LeVert too. He's a dog. I doubt we'll start Joe Harris. Probably bring him off the bench. KD gonna come in at the 3. You know what that means. You know what time it is. I'm just waiting for that to happen, man. Honestly.
Yeah. So definitely see. One of the last things I want to talk about is Lonzo Ball finally got introduced. Took his photos. Him, Ingram, Hart, JJ Redick, all of them took their photos. So basically, they interviewed Lonzo, and basically what they were saying is, he's very excited to be in this new environment, and he's away from all that scrutiny and pressure of what it comes with not only playing in a big market like LA, but playing with LeBron as well too. Obviously, these last 2 years didn't really pan out how we wanted it to be. First year only played like 33 games. Second year only played about the same amount of games as well too. So we never got to see Lonzo at his peak, and I just feel like now, going into a new environment, he said it so himself, you're going to really see him take that next step. He's going to go to playing like how he used to play with that, up-tempo, fast-paced brand of basketball, because they're very young, athletic, and have a lot of potential. My question for you is, how do you think Lonzo's going to pan out with the Pelicans? And then I know off of the air, we were talking about, is he going to start? Is he not going to start? How do you think he's going to pan out? What are your expectations for Lonzo?
Big baller brand.
Is that even a thing anymore?
Lonzo got to put up, or LeVar got to shut up. One or the other. Man, I hope he do good over there in the Pelicans, man. If he do start, He'd be the main facilitator, main playmaker for them boys. Get Zion involved, get Drew Holiday. He's a scorer. He's a defensive player as well. Get everybody involved, get the team involved. You know, he'll push the pace. They got Bi over there too. He gonna run with them boys too.
Now, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Bi, he had that whole blood clot. Is he gonna be ready for the season?
He got a Chris Bosh disease. I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I ain't hear nothing about it since the end of the Lakers season last year. So I don't know. It's another one of my Duke boys. I hope he do good.
They go to Duke.
I hope he do good.
What are your expectations for the Pelicans?
See, we was writing it down early. We're probably gonna leak it to y'all, release it to y'all a little bit later on. I'm not gonna unveil.
Don't tell them about the seeding.
Okay.
You can talk about us if they're gonna make the playoffs or not, and then what are your expectations? Are they gonna be fun to watch? Are they gonna be very competitive? Like, just tell me your spill.
It's a development year for them. I'll say that. It all depends on how Zion show out. I feel like if he can come in there and be efficient. Score,
what's efficient for you? Like, what's his numbers looking
scoring.
like?
I mean, if as in field goal percentage. If he can go out and play hard every night, which we know he do, and he's shown that at Duke. He showed a glimpse of us in summer league, a very small glimpse. He go out there and play every night, play defense, jump around, run around, be active on both ends of the court, cut, catch lobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Create that fun, excitement vibe. Lonzo push the court, push the ball. They'll have a fun year. Not a great year, but a fun year. Not a good year, but a fun year. And then that'll lead to everybody, want to come back, stay, have a good organization, go into next year. Then next year, they'll be a better team and compete for the playoffs. But to answer your question, I do not have them in the playoffs this year.
Okay, interesting. So with Zion, two things. He seems like he's been enjoying New Orleans, their food over there. He looked like he put on a lot of weight.
Big boy.
Do you think he has to slim down before the regular season starts? And then do you think his knee is sort of an issue or is going to be an issue moving forward with his career too?
Man, so the knee thing, you mean when he busted his shoe in the Duke UNC game?
Because he sprained his ACL.
I think that was a freak injury. I think he'll be fine.
And then they sat him out after just playing for 10 minutes, I think, right? He scored like 9 points, 10 minutes, and they sat him out.
The summer league game.
Yeah,
I think they just how they go with the summer league. After a while, you don't play no more. I don't think he really hurt for real. They just LeBron and them players like that. Them who you think is gonna be a generational type of player. You might play a game of summer league, then you done. You might not even. I don't think Ben Simmons even played in summer league.
No, he played.
He did? He did? Okay, he did play.
That's when I was like, damn,
some of the boys don't even play in some league. Zion, he had like 11 points. I think he had like 4 dunks in the first quarter. You don't need to play no more for what? He don't show what he about
He
at
snatched
Duke.
the ball from Knox and then banged that
I would took him out
joint.
right then. He took the ball from Buddy, turned around and banged that joint. I mean, flex like this. He would out the game right then if I was the coach. You don't need to see nothing else.
Yeah.
We seen what we had to see. Take him out. Get ready for the regular season. Boom.
For sure. Okay, cool. Last thing I want to talk about right now to end everything is, right now I would say that our rosters are pretty much set in stone. The only thing that's going to really change is if you add on to players who are still in the market, or if you get a contract that's bought out, post All-Star break, you're going to sign someone. So these rosters are pretty much what's set in stone. So based on all of these trades and this crazy free agent frenzy, we'll go back and forth with it. What are your predictions for the West and East and rankings? I'll give you mine first. Ours are probably different. So, number 1 in the West, I got the Clippers. He's a Kyrie fan. I'm a Kawhi fan. If you look at history, Kawhi Leonard has the highest win percentage of all time, which is crazy.
In the playoffs?
Nah, in the regular season.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the most winningest player of all time. You mix him, who just came off of a Finals MVP run. He's been on great teams too,
A lot of Hall of Famers.
Yeah, a lot of Hall of Famers who weren't in their prime anymore, and he was the main catalyst of winning. He did his thing, and he did his thing this year too.
Definitely.
And don't even flex saying, "Oh yeah, Katie was hurt too, and Clay happened too." He just was on a tear the whole. Got the job done. So I think right now, until LeBron comes back and try to take it, I think he's the best player right now. You mix him, and then you mix Paul George, who finished number 3 in MVP, and you already have that system intact with that coach and then a billionaire owner who's willing to spend it all. I think they're going to come up top. And I feel like, as opposed to other teams, how he was kind of like with Toronto, you already have a system intact, and you just plugging him with Paul George. I think they're going to mesh faster than a lot of people think, and they're going to take that stride. That's 1. 2, Nuggets. got the Nuggets because last year they were the number 2 seed, and I think
Interesting.
they're going to get even better
Interesting.
from last year. And I think Jokic, Murray are going to step up, and I think my dark horse is going to be Michael Porter. So we'll see what's good with that. Number
I think
3,
they said he's hurt. I think he said he's hurt.
I think
don't
he
know
had
for
a
how
little
long.
knee problem, but
Okay.
I think he'll be back for the
Coming
regular
back?
season.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 3, I got the Blazers. For some reason, we always sleep on the Blazers, and they always find a way to make it up there. And I just feel like, they got that new acquisition. They re-signed Rodney Hood. They gave Dame the max contract. CJ McCollum's getting better. I think since they have that chemistry and fluidity already together, that they're going to be well. And then if you look at the stats, they're one of the best home teams to play. So I think they're going to be number 3. Number 4, I got the Rockets. It's taking a gamble right here, but I just feel like we talked about it earlier. If they mesh together, they're going to be a problem, especially in the regular season. They're just going to be beating up on these teams in the East. So I think with 2 MVPs coming together, realizing that they have a common goal, realizing that they've been scrutinized for a majority of their career, I think they're going to put the egos aside. I think they're going to work magic. And when you're under Mike D'Antoni's system, your numbers are only going to get higher. You know what I'm saying? 5, that's when I got the Lakers. I think the Lakers, with new coaching and a damn near new team, it's kind of going to be like last year where they're going to have some time to gel together. And I think once they gel together, they're just going to take that leap. But like I said, in the West, when you lose one game, you can jump from the 3 seed to the 8 seed. So I think they're going to start off a little bit rough, still be about at 500. And then once they hit like December time, that's when they're going to take that leap. And it's going to be a wrap from there. Number 6, I got Utah. I love the addition of Mike Conley. And I just think, with Donovan Mitchell getting better, they still got Rudy Gobert and all those pieces around them. I think they're going to do what they got to do. 7, I got San Antonio. Spurs fan, obviously, right here. You just can never bet against Pop. You know what I'm saying? You can never, ever bet against Pop. Since I've been alive, since I've been watching them play, since I've been a fan, they've never missed the playoffs. They always work what they got. They got that system intact. They still got LaMarcus Aldridge. Walker's coming back. DeJounte Murray's coming back. They just signed, what's his name, Damari Carroll. They got Burtons. They got Derek White. They got a tough squad, so don't sleep on them. And then number 8, I got the Warriors. I know that's super low for some people. But I feel like when Clay's missed the whole season, and like I said, they're in the West, these teams are getting better. And you have D'Angelo Russell, who's going to be a good piece, but I feel like they're going to be challenged defensively, and they lost KD, and they don't have the depth that they used to have. I think they're going to struggle, and I think they're going to figure it out. But like I said, even in the West last year, the Clippers were 8 seeds, still won 48 games. So not to say that they're not going to have a great season. They could still have a very good record above 500, but I just feel like with all those pieces going away, it's going to be hard for them to be that dominant. What are your picks for the West?
For the West, you had a very, very interesting take, by the way. Number 1, I think you had the Clippers too. I mean, the Clippers number 1 also. I had the Clippers number 1 also.
Okay.
You already spoke on it. Don't need to be said.
Yeah.
Kawhi, Paul George.
OD.
Your bench is crazy.
OD.
Montrez off the bench. Lou Williams off the bench. I don't need to speak on that no more. Number 2, I got a Lake Show.
Wow.
I got LA 1 and LA 2 for number 1 and 2 spots.
I like that. Why 2?
Man, Bron won in the playoffs last year. That boy better turn up. I'm gonna say that, man.
Yeah.
He got a squad. He got AD. He got his number 2. He got his
AD.
2 punch. He got 2 punch. We seen a lot of times what he do with his number 2 punch with Kyrie, K-Love, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
he got 1 and 2.
He didn't
got
have that last year.
And he got Kuzma. Let's get it done, LeBron. Number 3, I'm surprised you had them so high. I think you had them 2. I didn't expect that. I got Denver number 3. They got a lot of young bulls out there. Jokic, probably the most underrated players in the NBA. I got him taking a step up, a leap up. A lot of young boys. They got Gary Harris at the 2. They got Jamal Murray at the 1. They got Will Barton at the 3. That's a lot of young boys. And they all under like 25, under 25. Do they still have Millsap at the 4?
Yep.
Or they trade him? Okay, they still got him. Okay.
Yeah.
Then like you said earlier, they got Michael Porter Jr. When he gets back healthy, I think they could take a step up. I feel like they should have beat Dame in the playoffs this year. Just experience kicked in with Dame and McCollum, et cetera, et cetera.
Just about to say that.
So they couldn't get over their leap. They won 7 games, right?
They won 7 games against the Spurs first round and 7 games against the Blazers second round.
And
And I feel like they would have played Warriors better too, especially when KD went there. They would have won at least 2 games.
And I think that Denver did have home court advantage on the Blazers too, so they just blew that joint.
Yeah.
Who we got next? 4, Don't disrespect my dog. We got the Warriors number 4, Golden State.
4.
Come on, Curry is a regular season player at the end of the day.
Hey, but
He don't.
he's
He's
not that
there
much
in the
depth, so he
playoffs.
may have to play more
Yeah,
minutes.
he do.
Man.
He got
Injury history with ankles.
Yeah, he got a young boy. He got D'Angelo. Thing about it is I got D'Angelo when needed, running the point.
I
And
want
Steph
him to
Curry
run
playing,
point.
playing a lot of off ball as well. You know,
Yeah.
so he can just run around, do his thing. You know, he like running around, coming off screens, flying around, and Russ just handled that one. Then you got Draymond. He gonna have to show some. He gonna show something else.
Contract year.
He gonna have to come out his bag this year, and I want to see it. I'm all for it.
He's trying to get paid.
Yeah, he gonna have to run that one a little bit too. He can find Russell. He can find Curry too. So I don't got them boys dropping too much. I got them at the
I
first.
don't know, man, because they lost Iggy, Livingston.
they lost a lot.
They lost Cook,
They lost a lot.
KD. So I'm just like, we'll see. All
But
right,
they
keep
still
going.
got a 2-time MVP out there.
That's true.
5, I got Russ and Harden. The Rockets. I don't have them that high just because it's their first year together. 2 MVP caliber players. You know, they gonna butt heads. They gotta butt heads in order to get better.
Mm-hmm.
They are homeboys, so they're not gonna have a problem butting heads, saying what they need to say to each other, bounce shit off each other. But at the end of the day, when it's time for playoff time to come up, I do got them shining. Whether that be going far or whether that be playing somebody real tough competitively, I do have them shining in the playoffs. 6. I got them 6. I think they're done. Portland. I think they done. I don't really got them making no noise this year. I know they do.
Although
good
they
in the
got
regular
swept
season.
by the
I think
Wolves.
so. I know they got Hassan Whiteside too alongside with Nurkic. I don't know if they're gonna keep both of them big boys.
I mean,
down there.
they got swept by the Warriors last year, but let's not forget, like, although they got swept, they they ran to the Warriors, and B, every game they play against the Warriors, they're up 17. You don't think they're gonna make even another step to get better?
The West got tougher. I don't
West did get
know how
tougher.
much better they got. I don't know how much better they got. That's a lot of niggas got better. I just got them 6. I don't see them making that much noise. If somebody got to fall off for other niggas to jump up.
Yeah.
I got the Lakers jumping up, and I got the Clippers jumping up. So somebody got to fall off. I just got to be in the Blazers.
OKC, Dunzo.
7, Popovich. I ain't even gonna say the team name, just Popovich. 8. I was battling with this joint a lot. I guess I'm gonna say the Jazz at 8 just because they added Mike Conley.
Who's a dog?
Yeah, they got Donovan Mitchell. I want him to play better. I know he's young. He's young too, but I do want him to play better. They got Rudy Gobert holding the fort down low. So I got my 8 spot. That's all I got.
Okay.
Quick little West one.
Cool.
West one.
For the East, that's an S. For the East, number 1, I got the Bucks. Even though they lost Mirotic and they lost Brogdon, we saw what they essentially can do without them in the playoffs. I think Giannis is top 3 player right now in the NBA, and I just feel like he's in the East right now. They already got the system intact. Budenholzer, Chris Middleton gonna get better. They just gonna come out for blood, and I don't really see them taking a step back. Honestly, I'm kind of being a little contradictive a little bit from earlier what I said, but just thinking about it, I don't see no team really messing with them for real. And Giannis just has so much to prove, and I feel like losing to Kawhi, losing to the Raptors, really, stuck with him. So
I would hope
he gets better every year, and I think
hope.
and they're not done making moves. They're gonna find some valuable players that they can add, and they're gonna get right back to the conference finals. Number 2, 76ers, like you said, the Achilles heel or the kryptonite to Joel Embiid was Al Horford. Now you have him there with him, and you got Ben Simmons who just got that contract, got Richardson and Embiid. The way they just lost last year by a freaking tip from Kawhi, I think they're more improved. And I think they're gonna take that next leap. Obviously, the East is a little weaker. Number 3, I got Boston. Still got Brad Stevens. Still got that system intact.
Interesting.
You got Kemba, who, when you think about it, has never had any good players around him at all. You know what I'm saying? He had Batum, Marvin Williams. Like, he had some not that good players who were towards the end of their prime. So I think for them to be number 3, I'm banking on the fact that you don't have Kyrie there anymore with that drama, the fact that you don't have Terry Rozier anymore, Horford. There's going to be more of a distribution to go around as well, too. And I think this is when we actually see who Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can become. And then Gordon Hayward, who really no one really talks about, like you said earlier, had a devastating injury. He going to come back to Gordon Hayward as well, too. And I think they're just going to find a way to figure things out. 4, my boy Oladipo coming back. They got Malcolm Brogdon. They're looking a little better. the fact that they played so well without him, when they get him back, I think they're right back in that hunt. 5, I might sound sick with this one. I got the Raptors at number 5. Although they lost Kawhi Leonard and they lost Danny Green, I think Pascal Siakam.
He a Raptors fan, y'all.
I'm not a Raptors fan. I was a Kawhi fan. Spurs and go Clippers. But yeah, I think that Nick Nurse is. I think he's the best coach in the East right now. I think he's better than Brad Stevens, no cap. And I think that they're the champions. I got to give them some form of respect, and I feel like they're one of the best teams in the NBA who are great at developing players. OG about to come back. Frank VanVleet got confident. Kyle Lowry finally, got over the hump. I'm a little worried that it's been a long time coming. I'm a little worried that since Kawhi isn't there, he has to fall back to that number 2 option. But I think we're going to see Pascal Siakam come for blood this year. Last year, he averaged 16 points in the regular in the playoffs. I think he averaged about 18 to 19 points a game. I think this year on some sick shit, he averages 22 to 25 points per game this year. And they have that system intact, so I think they're going to be good to go, man.
I would just have Siakam working on his handles all year, off season.
Yeah, and there was just a video that got released the other day. I don't know if I tagged you guys on our group message on Instagram. He's working on this. He's working on everything.
I want to see it.
He's one of those players who just wants to be great, and I think he's taking that leap. Number 6, I got Kyrie and the Nets. I think last year they were number 7. I think they're going to go up a little bit more. I think that Kyrie is going to have an adjustment period. And I mean, they definitely improved. You know what I'm saying? They got rid of D'Angelo Russell, who I was very, very fond of, replaced him with Kyrie, got DeAndre Jordan. But I think, this is going to be an experimentative year. And I think, they're going to be battling to get above 500, and they'll make the playoffs and do what they got to do. 7, I got Miami. Jimmy Butler, he wanted to be a number 1 option. He wants to be the man. He's the man. We'll see what moves they make, but I feel like he's going to be battling for that spot. Number 8, I got Detroit. I feel like they got unfinished business. I think, with Dwayne Casey finally getting adjusted to them, they're finally going to, play a little bit more consistent, and they added D Rose off the bench, and they needed a score. So those are my top 8 picks. What are yours?
For the East, number 1, I got the Sixers. There's no reason why they shouldn't get a job done and come out the East this year. They got a big boy. They got the point guard. They got the wings. They got everything you need. You got a 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4 punch combos out there. Embiid, I need something from you in the playoffs this year, Embiid. Ben Simmons, just keep doing your thing. You got Horford. Y'all big. Y'all real big. Y'all are really big. Y'all start 3 people over at least 6'10".
Yeah.
In y'all starting lineup, if y'all do decide to start Horford at that 4, which I think
I'm just worried about how I'm just worried about how
spacing. Yeah. Who the coach over there right now?
He used to be assistant on the Spurs. Brett Brown.
Okay, he be up and down. But I got a number 1. They've been losing a lot in the playoffs. It's about that time for them. At least get to the finals this year. At least get to the Eastern Conference Finals. The finals, something. They got the pieces. They got the personnel. Let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
2, I got the Bucks. They did lose 2 key pieces. Brogdon, I think was he 50, 40, 90 this year?
50, 40, 90. One of the very few.
Brogdon. I heard that boy. Not Middleton. Mirotic went overseas.
Mm-hmm.
He did a little bit for something for him in the playoffs against Boston. But that is a piece. I do got from 2.
Mm-hmm.
3, Kyrie and the Nets.
You're sick.
Yes, sir.
They better than the Pacers?
Yes, sir. Who else in the East has a big name like Kyrie on the roster? About the 2 teams I just named. It's not really anybody. So when you talking about personnel, when you get talking about the player-wise on your team to lead your team, I don't see why not, man. Come on now. Who you got over them? You got the Pacers. I got the Pacers 4. They going to stay stagnant. We know what they about. They're staying stagnant. They don't have a high ceiling. The Nets have a high ceiling.
47 games last year, I think.
Yeah, but they're not. Then they get the playoffs.
And Oladipo missed half. Darren missed half the season. What you mean? And they got Brogdon.
Look, I might be a little biased with the Nets because my boy out there. But look, he started 22-4 with the Celtics. I think this roster is better. He started 22-4 with the Celtics 2 years ago. I think this roster is better. You have Jarrett Allen. You have DeAndre Jordan. You have Karis LeVert, who can rock with and without the ball. You got Spencer Dinwiddie, who can rock with the ball, shoot, distribute, get to the rim. We know that. Joe Harris, he's a shooter. highest 3-point shooter in the NBA last year. You got dogs out there. Who they have out there? They have the boy from the Hawks. What's his name? I can't remember that boy's name.
I can't remember.
Torian Prince.
Okay.
The hustle player that you need alongside Kyrie and KD, that's gonna be him. He gonna get them. He gonna get them. Them dog rebounds, putbacks, etc. Hit the wide open jumper. Everything you need. They got pieces. Kyrie, he got a better squad. I feel like he came in the Boston 2 years ago before we knew who Tatum was, before we knew who all them boys was. So I got my dog number 3. 4, like I said earlier, the Pacers.
That's respectable.
They gonna stay stagnant how they was the last 2 years. I don't see them. They ain't add nobody. Like I said earlier, if you don't add nobody, you're not getting better. You're getting worse.
They just got Oladipo on Brogdon.
They got Oladipo back, but last year they had Oladipo almost the whole year, right? Probably like 50, 60 games.
What?
Oh, they got Brogdon. They got Brogdon. Okay, all right. I still got them 4. Celtics are number 5.
5.
Yes. Yeah, they lost Kyrie, they lost Horford, and they lost Rozier. Rozier didn't play that much, but they lost Kyrie and Horford. There's going to be some type of drop-off. Then they gained who? Kemba?
You were the guy who spoke so highly about the Celtics last year. Oh, yeah, see.
They lost a
Jaylen
dog.
Brown, Jason
they
Tatum.
Lost a dog.
So Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown not going, Kemba's a dog? What are you talking about?
He's a dog, too, but he a little inconsistent. He don't shoot that well, like Kyrie.
Because he ain't never have no one around him. Watch him be efficient this year.
That's fine. Look, if he does, then he'll shut me up.
Okay, all right. We might have to
this,
put bread on that one.
We can. Look, if you want to put bread on the Nets versus the Celtics, who gonna be high seeding, we can do that. And I'm
do
all
that
for
when
that.
we gotta see. Look,
now he want to talk
we
off
gotta
air.
No, we
gotta
gotta see load management. We gotta see if it's a back-to-back game. Then I'll bet you with that. But
next,
Kemba's gonna be efficient this year. Come on now.
6. I need John Wall and Bradley Beal to shut the fuck up and show up. I got them making the playoffs this year. They made the playoffs last year. I got them in the playoffs this year. The 6th spot
over the Raptors.
Yes.
You don't even believe
John Wall,
yourself. Look at your face.
Look. I definitely believe
John Wall's not even coming back this year.
He was chubby last year. He not playing this year?
No.
He hurt until when?
He's done. He's not coming back this year.
Oh, that's news to me.
Yeah, you might just switch that right now.
I still got him at 6. Look, I want him to come back. I still got my 6. I'm not going to change the lineup, bro.
Broke his heel.
When he coming back?
He's either sitting out for the rest of the year because everyone is saying he's not going to be back till 2020, 2021 season.
Okay, I was not hip.
And yeah.
I was not sharp.
Yeah, that's why
we're just going to move along. 7, we got Toronto, the Raptors.
You're sick. They're not taking a step back.
They lost a lot. Like I said, if you're not gaining nothing, it's 2019. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Yes, they won the East. They won the whole Eastern Conference
and they're in the
Finals
East
last year. But they lost Kawhi Leonard. You gonna put who you putting your faith in?
I just told you, Pascal Siakam.
I want you to say it again.
Pascal
And
Siakam
Lowry?
and Kyle Lowry.
We know what Lowry about. I don't have no faith in Lowry.
Marcus Gasol still there.
Siakam,
Fred VanVleet.
we asking for
OG
Siakam.
Anunoby.
Yeah, we asking Siakam a lot if you want him to be a superstar this year. We asking him a
Norman
lot.
Powell.
Yeah, bum. He's okay. But
He's sick.
I got them at 7. Come on now, they gonna take a step down. They
You
lost
have
Kawhi
them-
Leonard.
You have them
They
being.
lost Kawhi
You
Leonard.
have them being worse than the Wizards.
Did they keep Marcus Gasol?
Yeah.
We saw
he opted into his
We saw what he
contract.
was about last year. Hot shit. So we're gonna keep moving. Number 8, I got the Pistons.
No Jimmy? That's crazy.
I don't got Jimmy. I thought about it, but I don't got Jimmy. I had the Pistons at number 8 just because they got Blake and they got the big boy down low.
And Dwayne Casey. Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. I put him at 8. I threw him in there at 8. I don't got Jimmy getting in there this year unless they get another piece. If we get another piece, then I might switch up my lineup. But I do got the Pistons at number 8 at their number 8 spot, closing everything out for the East this year.
Okay.
I don't have what I was debating on is if I was getting my boy Zion in there.
Who?
Zion with the Pelicans.
Oh,
Zion.
for the West?
Yeah.
I was a little
he's
torn.
I'm tripping. I keep thinking the Orleans is on the East, but
Yeah.
they're in the East in real life, but in the NBA wise on the West.
I was going to be wild and put the Hawks at 8, but they still got like another year until they start to make that leap. I got to see what Reddit's talking about because he's going to be great. I think if he has that mindset, he can either be like a Paul George or he can be like a Gerald Green. We're going to see.
We're gonna see.
So we're going to see. But yeah, man, appreciate you being on the show,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
That was very, very fun. A lot of high energy, us going back and
Had a lot of
forth.
fun myself, yes, sir.
Yeah, any last closing statements that you wanna say, anything like that?
Yeah, man. Appreciate being on the show. Episode 56 of the Seezus Show. Once again, my name is Drew. We had a lot of fun, man. Was supposed to get on here a long time ago, like I said before, back when it was just audio. I'm glad, my man, you're doing big things. You got the video now, got the whole setup. I'm liking what I see, man. Hope you go far with this, do a lot of big things with this. Your whole overall brand, the video, the whole analysis of the NBA, breaking everything down, man. And good things coming for you, man. I look forward to it.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it there. Subscribe to the Seezus Show, available on all major platforms. We got YouTube now, the video, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. It's literally on everything. I even Googled the Seezus Show the other day, and iHeartRadio has something. So it's up there too. On Twitter, on Instagram, have my own website, theseezusshow.com. So do yourself a favor, follow, subscribe, like, rate, comment, share, do what you got to do. And then on that note, we out.
We out.